Right then. So setup wise, like I say, is decent. Just as a kind of friendly reminder, just to make sure we get the arms in that kind of correct position. The handle needs to be forward. It's not too bad there. There were occasions it got a little bit back towards the middle.
Yeah. And
sometimes that right hand, say the thumb looks a little bit long there in terms of that sort of gripping the club, this as opposed to a bit more in the fingers. That sort of, that ring in the towel feeling.
That certainly felt better. Yeah.
And the thing is, if you hold it in the fingers correctly, get that sort of towel ringing kind of feel, you can start doing this a lot easier. Yeah. If you're gripping it this way, it restricts the movement. Yeah. Now, in terms of the hip movement, as I said, on the way back, brilliant. What we've got to do now is maintain that hip on the wall and then stay there. What you do is you pivot back off and impact. This one, you're probably just about on the wall sufficiently enough. But as you start swinging out, you see your hip moving away from that wall. And then when you finish the swing, this foot hasn't really moved round. The knees haven't come together. And this hip now hasn't really moved round as much as you'd want to do, okay? So you're kind of struggling a little bit with that shift. That's going to cause you to hit the ground beyond the golf ball, okay? In this case, it was okay enough because you'd moved so far to the left on the way back. By the time you actually started moving back, you'd already made contact, so it was all right. But if you hadn't moved quite enough to the left, or you were swinging faster and you'd moved further this way in the downswing, you're now hitting the ground beyond the golf ball, okay? So what you've got to try and do now in the backswing, same good movement here now, but now stay on the wall there, you can see, So now you're keeping that left hip, so there's a line there, you moved into it and then into it, Now your hands, if I'm being picky, could be a little bit nearer the wall, but again, we work on the engine working better, get the body working more efficient, and the hands can kind of just fit in around that, okay? But in terms of that hip movement, great. It's then keeping it there, so we're moving into that one. The reason why we want to go that way in the backswing now, because you've only got to move from there to that red line, it's a tiny amount. If you were over here, it's a long way then to get back to the wall, and doing that in, you think at the top of the backswing then, where's your back? That's roughly the top of your backswing at 337. You're back into impact at 375, so under half a second, So you haven't got a lot of time to move across and move at that speed, okay? So, and when you finish, that's better. The knees are coming together. When that knee sort of just braced that a little bit, okay? In time, that will just kind of like start extending. But again, don't worry about these things. A lot of these things will, but the hip movement much further around. Just look at the difference in the two kind of finish positions there. Your hips are fully rotated. In an ideal world, that leg would be a little bit straighter, which would give the impression the knees are nearer together. If I'm kind of there, knees together, if I do that with my knee now, they look a bit more split. That's why it looks a little bit further away. But the foot on the right side there is a good indicator of kind of where your body weight's gone. And that's going to change that low point. So you're striking the ground after the ball. So rather than hitting the ground this side of the ball, you're hitting the ground more after the ball. Okay, does that make sense then? Really good though. Fair play, well done.